We are now live, which means I can hit this button here. We'll have some music. And of course, we can have a look at the rather tasty pictures that people have sent in. Thank you very much indeed for getting these in. This was the new pictures that I put up last week. A whole bunch of new pictures. Andrew English is in there. All of these people, by the way, are getting a T-shirt designed by Dark Bunny Tees. Exclusive to Englishman in San Diego. They're very, very nice. It's very, very, it's a cool design. I'll read this out again. Janine Nacaro's on the Q&A. Good morning from sunny SoCal. The countdown is on to the San Diego Comic-Con. Can't wait to meet some of you there. I think she's talking to you, Alyssa. I don't think she's talking to me.
I missed that.
Yeah, Janine Nacaro, can't wait to meet some of you there. I think she's talking about you, not me. Good morning from the lovely Mitten that is Michigan. Hello there. I didn't know that's where you were, Green Key. So. And Mike's joined us. Hello, Mike. How are you, sir?
Good. Hi, guys.
Good. So yeah, we're doing the 5-minute countdown. Once again, if you do want to get your pictures in, send them to pics@anenglishmaninsandiego.com. Everyone who gets a picture in, and it could be a memory from New York Comic Con, it could be from Wizard World, it could be from San Diego, it could be from Nerd HQ, any of your con memories, get those pictures in. We'd love to have some more pictures sent into the 5-minute countdown. Everybody who sends in a picture does get themselves a designed T-shirt designed by Dark Bunny Tees, and we'll get those out hopefully, fingers crossed, just as Comic Con's happening. But who knows? We'll let you know. Don't forget to share the link as well. If you go to Englishman SDCC on Twitter, all the links are there. You've got YouTube, you've got the Google Plus as well. Let everyone know that we're going to be live in about 2 minutes, 52 seconds. And there's Mike Armstrong going, 2 minutes, 52 seconds. I could organise an entire convention in that time. Some great pictures that have come in, by the way. Thank you very much indeed, certainly to Andrew English, to Jason Coe, to me and my nerd as well. I do love that Stormtroopers pic. Once again, pics@anenglishmaninsandiego.com. We'll try and get, we've only got a couple more of these to do, really, so you haven't got a great deal of time. Get your pictures in sooner rather than later. I've been informed that the music seems loud. Well, that I can sort out. Is that better?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Leonard.
Hi,
Mike. By the way, Mike and Mike.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Well, you see, you've got to understand, I work as a DJ in an evening. If there's not blood coming out of people's ears, then it's not loud enough. Yes, I'm really selling myself as a DJ there. Barbara Henderson, that great picture from WonderCon. Could do so. I think we've got a bunch of NYCC pictures in this countdown, actually. So thank you very much indeed for getting those in. Michael P's watching. Good morning from Colorado Springs. Hello, Michael. So yes, if you have been paying attention to my social media as well, we are going to be doing a meetup, a kind of post-con wrap-up to San Diego Comic-Con on Monday, which follows Comic-Con. It's going to be from a rather interesting location, and yes, we'll be telling you how you can get yourself a space on that particular hangout during today's show. Once again then, send in your pics to pics@anenglishmaninsandiego.com. We'd love to see them on the 5-minute countdown. And of course, everybody who gets a picture in, and on the screen on the 5-minute countdown also gets themselves a t-shirt designed by Dark Bunny Tees. Do head to darkbunnytees.com, check out their website. Free limited edition t-shirt. All you have to do, get a picture in, send it in. Love to see it. Okay. Turn that off and turn that off. Okay. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Yes, we are. Excellent stuff. Now you see, I've got myself a new background. Everything's all nice, trying to look all nice and professional. And there's Mr. Mike Armstrong, nicely settled on the sofa. I think he's got the right idea here. I think he's just.
This is my way of.
Oh, has he vanished? Oh, is it me or is it? Oh, anyway.
No, it's my. I think Mike's Wi-Fi is kind of stuttered a little bit, so hopefully he'll get back in contact with us shortly, and we'll move on.
Okay, no worries. Welcome to Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Leonard Sultana, and this is our weekly show where we talk con culture, pop culture, and all the stuff and nonsense that goes around your favorite events, wherever you end up going, to San Diego Comic-Con, to WonderCon, to New York Comic-Con, which is what we are going to be talking primarily about today. If you do want to jump in on today's show, it is absolutely a roundtable event, which means it's all about you and your questions. If you do want to jump into the Google Plus event, ask your questions, go to the Q&A button and get your questions in. We would love to hear what you want to talk about today. We've got some great guests, so let's just get straight into it. We have ourselves my regular partner in crime, Alyssa Franks from the Friends of CC Forum. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. T-shirts and hoodies and lanyards have gone out. That took up about 2 or 3 full days of unwrapping and packaging and post officing, and it's all done.
That is an actual verb, by the way, post officing, just to let you know. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that it's kind of putting the jigsaw together at this point. I know exactly what you mean. It's all kind of slowly coming together. So excellent to hear that it's all working on that regard. We'll come back and we'll talk about the forum towards the end of the show. We'll do a bit of a recap on that. We also have from the forum Mr. Michael Leventhal. Hello, Michael. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
It's Vesa time somewhere.
Yeah, it is. It's a good Sunday. We're heading up to, a lot of shows, a lot of summer shows, and, looking forward to some of the fall shows as well.
Excellent. Well, I know that I'm looking forward to some big shows. I'm still trying to work out if I can get the money together, please, that I could actually attend it is one of the biggest shows on the planet, and we are so glad that we have got one of the guys who's organising that joining us today. Yes, Mike Armstrong from ReedPOP. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm pretty great. How are you guys?
Not too bad at all. First of all, I suppose just in case there's anybody out there, because I know we've seen a little inside baseball here on this show. We kind of know who we're talking to, but just in case, introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm the event director for one of the event directors at ReedPOP. I handle New York Comic-Con, C2E2, and Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle. So I'm going to throw a special edition back in there as soon as I'm confident that it's going to happen again. But for right now, those are the 3.
I know that, if you have been following New York Comic Con on Twitter, you will have seen Mike's face because he's been doing an absolutely stunning job on answering questions about certainly the fan verification process. And I've really been enjoying those videos. The one thing I've really been impressed is just the amount of communication that you've been putting out to fans. Was that a very conscious decision this time around? Because it seems that you've definitely ramped it up this year.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, New York Comic-Con still feels like a local show to a lot of people, so for something like this to have to happen, just because of sheer demand, we knew it was going to require a lot of extra communication. So, it's a brand new process for everybody. A lot of people who attend New York Comic-Con might not even be used to the fact that San Diego does something very similar. So we recognize that we really need to get the message out there, and it was all timed very specifically, and it is all timed very specifically so that we can make an announcement give people enough time to next step, because there are, as you guys being in the know are aware, there's many steps to this.
Yeah. Okay, you may have noticed there was a little bit of a sound blip there. We will try and keep our best our communication lines open with Mike. Well, let's talk about that then. I mean, the changes that have been introduced to the process this year. When were those kind of decisions kind of talked about? Was it off the back of last year, or was it pretty much the moment the con finished?
We were actually been talking about this since before last year's convention. So when we recognized after we put tickets on sale in 2015 and just saw the amount of secondhand market ticket sales, we knew that we needed to do something, and just the demand it outweighs supply, and that's as simple as that. So we wanted to make sure that we could do everything possible to get people the opportunity to get tickets that they want at face value, rather than having to go pay exorbitant amount of money on eBay or StubHub or whatever. So we saw this and we started talking about this probably in August of last year, and we've been working really closely with ShowClicks, who does our ticketing, to put something in place. So it's been more than a year, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that San Diego is having a very similar issue at the moment as well, because they just had their badges start rolling out to attendees, and they're already starting to see badges going out on Craigslist for some ridiculous numbers. And I do know that it was the scalpers that you were definitely targeting with this process, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's never going to go away. No matter what we do, it's never going to go away. Even if San Diego had kept their old process, like, it was still there. There's a market for it. And when you've got something that people really want, black markets develop for it. So we know that even with what we're doing now, there's still going to be some tickets that leak out on eBay. It's just the way the world works. So what we're doing is we're really, for the initial on sale, we're really focused on getting people who want a 4-day ticket. We want them to get a 4-day ticket, and the way that we do that is just make it harder for scalpers to get in there and get tickets on sale. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the next few weeks when tickets do go on sale. I think that's broad enough that I can say that. But we're really excited to see how it works, and we've been working really hard with ShowClicks. We have daily meetings on this, it seems like, so we're really focused on making sure this works for everybody.
With this process that you've introduced with the RFID badges and the online sale, was the process of selling badges direct to customers in the store, was it just a logistics thing that you just couldn't integrate the two? I mean, I know that when I've spoken to a lot of fans, that is something that they kind of they were missing, that they weren't able to do the lining up this year to go and buy their badges or their tickets.
Yeah. I mean, Midtown's been a fantastic partner, and we've been doing that with them for that was 10 years, and they've been fantastic. And last year, their team plus our team put a ton of work into it, and it really. You guys actually commented after you and I had one of these chats after that it went very well and all the feedback was great. I think with the process that we're moving to, we require just a little bit more information from people, and I think if you went through the fan verification process, you recognize that information request wasn't intrusive in any way. It's the same amount of questions and the same exact questions that we asked during when you buy your tickets, but the problem was that people were trying to get through the ticket process and the ticket purchase process so quick that we weren't getting accurate information from anybody. So people that I knew were saying they were 60-year-old men, and I know that's a 23-year-old dude. So people are just clicking whatever they can as quick as possible to get through the process. So by moving that process up to the first thing that they need to do, we've already found that we've gotten more accurate information from people, and that information is really going to help us program the show. So we're going to be able to tell, hey, how many people are coming to the show or want to come to the show are looking for anime content? I don't know that we had a firm grasp on that before. How many people are looking for comics? How many people are looking for celebrity guests? So this is really going to help us program the show, and the fact is that we needed to get this information from everybody. So unfortunately that precluded us from doing anything with Midtown. We're still going to do stuff with Midtown. It's just not going to be ticket on sale. But they're working with us on our Star Trek event, and they're working with us hopefully when Special Edition comes back. So they're still a great partner. It's just, logistically wise, we needed to get everything going through one central system, and that was with the on sale being online.
That was an interesting part of that form, because yes, I have filled out my fan verification, and it was I noticed that it was a lot of data mining about how to program the show. What else, in terms of communication with fans, did you do to kind of organise that form and get everything in place? I mean, did you coordinate with any fans and kind of get a decent amount of feedback before launching the fan verification?
Yeah, we excuse me. We didn't want. We had some fans that we certainly trusted, and we got it out to them. I don't mean to say that you guys who didn't see it, we don't trust you. But we gave it to some people who work with us on other events, and they got a look at it. We went to some partners, like our PR agency, some media partners, and just kind of got their feedback on it. And it's yeah, that's what it turned out to be. In terms of communication, you know, we worked with those same media partners, and we worked with our PR agencies and our networks of friends in this industry to really push the fact that it needed to happen out there. We gave 3 weeks. You know, that's not a ton of time. We thought that that's enough, and that's what we could do given our timelines. We gave people 3 weeks to fill it out. A lot of it happened right away. We didn't crash, which I'm very proud of, on when we launched fan verification. But we did get tens of thousands of people within the first couple hours. So, you know, the demand is still there, and it's nice for us to get a true number on that demand.
Excellent. What has been the response, well, pros and cons? Have you kind of heard any responses that you'd like to share? Has it been positive pretty much across the board, or have there been one or two niggles?
I think it's largely been positive, and I think the people who New York Comic Con really means. There's a lot of people who this show really means a lot to people, and my staff included, but to fans, and I think Alyssa and Mike will say the same thing. I think when they saw this come out and they understood our reasoning for it, I think they said, okay, they want me to get a ticket, and they don't want me to have to spend $400 for it on eBay. So I think the people who really understand the dynamic of the event, I think they understood what we were trying to do. You know, the unfortunate thing is that there are people who might be new to the show, or there are people that might be new to conventions in general who, you know, didn't realize that this was going on until the day after it ended, and that, you know, that sucks. And we've gotten a fair number of emails from people who, you know, if I had known about this, I would have done it. Unfortunately, it's just, you know, that's how it goes. And it's unfortunate that there are people who want to come to the show, can't. But I think when we look at the numbers of people who actually went through the process, I think there's a lot of people who really do want to come to the show.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Yeah, no, I was about to open it up to you guys. Michael, if you want to jump in with a question.
Yeah, I was just curious, and if there's no answer, do you? That's okay. Do you know if, in terms of how many people signed up versus number of tickets, you know, available?
Oh yeah,
That's
more.
Great outlet for it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. More people signed up than we have tickets for. So even if you signed up for a fan verification profile, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the ticket or the ticket that you want. So that's, you know, it's still a big supply and demand issue, but I feel like we did a really good job of weeding out the people who are in it for nefarious reasons. And the processes that we put in place, you know, a guy who wants to sell these tickets in Texas can't buy 10. He can buy one. And if he's going to buy that one, he's going to sell it. There's not a whole lot that we can do about it. But if he, instead of having him buy the one, he could have bought 10 in the past. So we're keeping a large volume of tickets out of resellers' hands.
How many of those have been weeded out, by the way? Have you kind of done a good job on kind of getting a database together of those notable offenders?
Yeah, we've got our blacklist from last year, and that certainly helped. But when we went through the fan verification, all of the submissions, you know, it's pretty easy to figure out who's doing what there. And we canceled 4 figures worth of people who we determined were not in it for the right reasons. So that process took place last week and the week before of us going through that list and working really closely with ShowClicks, and we got rid of a couple thousand people who who we thought were reselling. And the fact is that in previous years, the way things used to be structured, those couple thousand of people could all have bought 10 tickets each. So that's 40,000 tickets or whatever it is out, and those are going onto the resale market. So even if they got one profile in, they're going to be able to resell 1 ticket. But like in years past, they can't buy 10 tickets. So that's something we're really proud of.
Would you say that's kind of one of the benefits of being not a non-profit, an actual profit organization, that you've got these resources to hand to do this kind of organization? Would you say?
Well, I'm not going to. I lost you there for a second, but I'm not going to say that we've got more resources or less resources. San Diego is a huge organization, and they do a fantastic job. So I think our resources are probably on par. But a lot of this is grunt work. I mean, this is me going through an Excel spreadsheet. This is 4 people on our staff going through an Excel spreadsheet. So it's a matter of time resources. It's not like we're doing anything crazy with tech. But it's something that the team was really passionate about this year, and they wanted to make sure that tickets stayed off of the resale market. So this was kind of our...
Yeah, we appear to have lost him there for a second.
Our big thing and our big focus for the year. Sorry, did I lose you guys?
Yeah, just for a little second there. So what was the couple of sentences at the end?
This was a huge focus for me and my team, and this was something that we all knew that we needed to do. So it took a week of our time, and I feel like the time was well worth it. But we don't have, I wouldn't say we have more resources than anybody.
Fair enough. Okay. Any questions, Alyssa, from the forum? Because we have been letting people know that we're going to be doing this hangout. So any questions from the forum, Alyssa?
There are, but I had a question back to the not selling tickets at retail outlets this year. Can I assume that that block of tickets that normally would have gone to the retail stores are now going to be sold online, so you'll have even more tickets to be sold online? Yep. And yes. Do you want to talk numbers?
No, I won't talk specifics, but that was
okay.
I think Midtown was over. It was definitely over 9,000 tickets that were sold at Midtown, so those are now back in the online block. But I won't get too specific.
Sure. I was wondering if the amount of lines, the blocks and blocks of lines that you had people camping out for the tickets at Midtown, I assume that played a factor in deciding not to sell at Midtown this year?
Well, there's, I think the overall process that we moved to was one of the main dictating factors. Was the main dictating factor, but there's differing opinions in the office about whether or not that's a good experience for people. And last year we certainly changed it so that there wasn't a ton of time between the announcements, so people were spending less time outside than I think they had in the past. But the people who were largely getting there early when they had enough time to plan, getting there early and coming out in numbers were resellers. So Midtown was actually really good about recognizing who the resellers were and pulling them out of line. But I'm not convinced that spending a day and a half outside is a great experience. People were able to get what they wanted. But I think with the process we put in place, it's going to be more equitable across the board.
Mm-hmm.
We have had someone on the Q&A, and by the way, once again, you have an opportunity here to ask ReedPOP directly any questions you want to have asked about New York Comic Con. Jump in on the Q&A, and please do jump in with anything that you want to ask. We have had someone who's just asked the direct question: when are they going on sale?
They're going on sale.
You mentioned kind of 2 weeks.
I'm not getting specific. I threw out weeks in a broad fashion so that I didn't have to commit to anything, but I know when they're going on sale, and I'm not saying. Sorry.
Can you give us an idea about what time of the week? Are you guys thinking about moving to a weekend or a midweek sale, or just so that we can do a little bit of pre-planning at work?
I know. I know. I wish I could give more. We've the office. Okay. We've decided that we're tight-lipped on this, and
sure.
Yeah, you'll find out. They are going on sale. I can confirm that.
Okay, we understood that.
Can you confirm at least one thing for me, though? Can you at least say, hold on, hear me out. You say a few weeks, but a few weeks is also Star Wars Celebration and San Diego Comic-Con. Can we at least confirm that you're not going to sell it those 2 weekends?
I won't confirm that, but I would encourage people to be realistic with our staff. So.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
In other words, they're going to be. they're going to be busy on Star Wars Celebration weekend.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's a good
And don't forget we have UFC Fan Expo in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That makes
Go for it.
that makes a lot of sense, Mike, and thanks for pointing that out for us. Can I broach the subject of VIP passes?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I mean, I know we're talking numbers, and I don't want to put you off or anything. I've got a question from Debster on the forum asking why you got rid of them. They really made the event different from San Diego. I know that they said it was because they were too hard to accommodate the passes, but the people who had them were pleased with them.
Yeah, no, and they were, and the feedback over the years on VIP has largely been really positive. I think we saw, especially last year, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% of your customers take 80% of your time and energy, and in this case, we just felt like there was too much of my staff's time was focused on how do we accommodate the VIPs rather than how do we accommodate the 167,000 other people that are going to the event. So it's a loss of revenue for us, frankly. When we told our accounting team that we were going to do this, they weren't happy. But we felt like there were certain things that VIPs got that not necessarily detracted from the event, but kind of accommodated a little too much either space, time, or just kind of mind space. So it was a hard decision. We're certainly grateful to the VIPs who supported us over the years, largely some of our most loyal fans. We wanted to make efforts and make strides to be able to provide a more of an experience to everybody. And I'm not saying that everyone's not a VIP. But there are things that we can now do for everybody that we were unable to do before as a result of what we had offered and what we needed to do for VIP. So it's really a hard decision. I'm sure there's many people out there who disagree with it. But at the end of the day, I think from an experience standpoint and thinking about the show from the perspective of we have 168,000 fans that we need to please, we feel like it's going to be easier for us to please the 168,000 people as opposed to the divide that we had before.
I would encourage you to consider, and this is purely from a personal standpoint, the lounge as an add-on. Maybe a sticky, just like, just to have a place to hang out because the couches were wonderful.
Yeah, it's tough. The Javitz Center, and excuse me for the profanity, but we're trying to jam 20 pounds of shit into a bag that can hold 5. So space is certainly at a premium at Javitz Center, which is why I think you'll start to see us make some pretty significant strides of moving things outside of the building and around the city, like we did last year with Hammerstein. We're doing that again. We've taken a new space down the street called Hudson Mercantile, which is 1 block away, which we'll be able to have some programming and things there. So we're doing our best to maintain the same number of tickets, maybe a little bit more, but at least spread things out a little bit so everyone is not crammed inside Javitz. And I hope to be able to announce a few more venues over the next couple of weeks. But it's a hard building. I mean, they're fantastic and they do what they can. But in terms of sheer space, it's hard for us to kind of handle the demand.
Well, I know over the last couple of years you have been introducing that New York Comic Week, the kind of like with more and more venues. Is that definitely something that you wanted to expand this year? That I mean, are we talking a lot more venues, or are we just talking a couple more for 2016?
So there's a couple of different things. Like we had something that we called New York Super Week, which was the week leading. No, you're fine. The week leading into New York Comic Con and of New York Comic Con, where there was stuff going on in Brooklyn, there was stuff going on in Times Square, live podcast, comedy, speed dating, that kind of stuff. And I think we were a little too ambitious. We had about 150 events around the city last year, and managed mostly by one person, and that's quite an undertaking, and I don't think that a lot of the events really resonated. So what we're doing, and we've announced this kind of in a small fashion with more information to come, is that we're kind of rebranding New York Super Week Presents. So NYCC Presents is going to give us a little bit more flexibility in doing things in different venues, different days, different times of day, and largely separately ticketed. So if there's something that we can't necessarily afford to bring into New York Comic Con, we can now put it at night at Hammerstein and do a separately ticketed event for it. So I think we won't be as ambitious in number of events, but I think that you'll see the quality of event and the quality of a venue start to really accelerate.
Is that all going to be focused on the week of New York Comic Con as well? Because you were kind of expanding beyond that week and really making it a kind of almost like a festival fortnight, as it were, here in the UK. It's going to be a little bit more focused for that New York.
It's going to be a little bit more condensed, and I think if you saw how things looked when we did New York Super for the first time in 2014 versus 2015, 2014 was a year that we had 150 events all around the city, starting 7 days before New York Comic Con. Last year we dialed it back a little bit. Still had a really good number of events, but we started on Tuesday or we started on Monday. We weren't starting the Friday before. This year I think you'll start to see that condensed a little bit more. I think you might see the first event maybe Wednesday and going through Saturday. I think that we're asking a lot of people. They've already got financially and just time-wise, we're asking a lot of people who are going to go to New York Comic Con to say, hey, check out this great event the Friday before. I think we need to be realistic about what people can do. So I think having stuff Wednesday through Saturday, even if it's a small separate ticket, I think people will be into it depending on the content, and I'm really excited about some of the content that's being talked about.
And if people are coming in from out of town, they're not gonna do anything for New York Super Week the week before. So your market, your market falls off quite a bit if you don't fall within that Wednesday to Sunday time frame. Just to follow up on the VIP tickets, do you think that some of the other venues, your other events might trend towards no VIP tickets too, like ECC or C2E2?
I think it depends on the events. I think for our events that have a little bit more space and flexibility in terms of venue, I think you'll see VIP stay. But as our events continue to get a little bit more venue bound, that's when I think you might see them start to go.
Excellent. We are taking questions on the Q&A. Thank you very much indeed for getting those in. Continue to get them in on the Twitter, Cup of Tea SDCC, and of course send them into the Q&A. Question coming from Samantha Beard. This is, I think, is a bit more a general question for Mike. What's the most difficult thing of organizing a huge event in the middle of Manhattan?
It's difficult. I don't know. It's so difficult. It's just crazy. Sorry.
No. I think we've had things that challenge us change year to year, and Leonard, I actually sent you pictures that you haven't posted yet, but I sent you a picture from one of our first New York Comic Cons, the first one I worked on, which was back in 2010. And our challenge in 2010 is far different than the challenges that we have now. I think now it's just a matter of moving people and making sure that people can see things that they want to see. Like think about New York Comic Con in terms of the number of experiences that you can have. And if you're spending 45 minutes in line for a panel, that's 45 minutes that you can't get back. You're going to get your payoff when you go to the panel, but what if you can be doing other things in that 45 minutes? Like my challenge now, and the thing that we think about at ReedPOP is how do I get people to experience more things at the event? Because as they experience more things, their satisfaction goes up. So I want to make sure that people, if there are ways that we can use technology to keep people out of line, if there are ways that we can provide more content. So we're going to have a more full schedule at Hammerstein. Hudson Mercantile is a new venue where we'll have more variety of content, which means that we're pulling stuff out of Javitz to go into other places. So that means we can backfill stuff at Javitz. So providing people more options and giving people more opportunity to see things is really what we're focused on, and that's our biggest challenge. 5 years ago I would have said our biggest challenge is just getting people through the front doors and getting people through the will call lines fast enough. But now we don't have will call lines, so things have certainly changed, and it's been a fun ride. But it's hard to think after, to kind of see the future and to know going into a year, like what's the big challenge going to be this year, because we're still working off perceptions that we had from the previous year. So continually trying to anticipate is one of our big challenges.
What's the kind of lead? Because the one thing I've been really impressed with New York Comic Con this year is the amount of lead-up time that you've done to the event, announcing a lot of your artists and certainly the comic talent very early, which is great for allowing people to plan their convention season throughout the summer. What's the lead-up time in terms of the stuff that you're organizing for October? I mean, is it all the way up to the deadline, or are things starting to settle into place pretty much now?
Yeah, things are starting to settle in, and I came back from, I was in LA this week just meeting with talent agents and, celebrity agents, and our studio team was out there the week before working with the studios to see what kind of properties are, work for the timing of New York Comic Con. So things are starting to get into place. Artist Alley submissions are done. We've selected the people who are going to be into Artist Alley, and we'll start rolling out names soon. We wanted to make sure that we locked in a few of our big name guests early so that we could have those up before fan verification closed, because we have Jack Gleason from Game of Thrones. If somebody just stumbled onto us because they're a big Game of Thrones fan, we wanted to give them the opportunity to get a ticket. So it's all part of the timeline we've been putting in place for the last 9 months or a year, is making sure that we can get info out early so that we can convince people to go through the fan verification process, and it seems to have paid off.
Excellent.
Speaking of
any other questions, Alyssa and Michael?
Mike.
Yeah, I have a few, actually. I mean, since you brought up fan verification, I mean, is there more? You've shared a lot of information with us already through the videos, but I was just wondering, I mean, I had a few questions, but I also was wondering if there's other stuff you wanted to share with us regarding, like setting up the tickets. I know you could buy up to 4 tickets, but then there's been questions about how to, like, specifically at the sale, how you buy the 4 tickets, or, when you get those names in and other stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a video explaining the process?
I think there will be. There's a really detailed document that's coming out pretty soon that will detail further, but essentially what you're doing is when tickets go on sale, you're clicking a link that's unique to you. You'll go in there, you'll buy your tickets via that link, and then you've got a period of time to assign people who have gone through the fan verification process to the tickets that you bought. And it's, that's as much as I'll say right now, because I don't want to give misinformation. The detailed document is gospel right now. So when that detailed document comes out, I think you'll start to see.
When you say you'll have time to assign names to that, are you talking minutes or days?
Many days. You'll have many days.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I know one of my friends has a big group, and their big question is, in terms of, let's say, some people get through and then buy, and then how do they know who's bought for who, or those kinds of logistical questions as far as making sure that everyone who's bought. I mean, I could go into a specific. I don't know if you want to.
Let's not get specific, but it's certainly something that we've been thinking about, and we want to make sure that the on sale is so harried and people are going crazy and they're trying to get in there, and if people are trying to buy for other people and other people are trying to buy at the same time, like, you're not communicating about who got what and who's on what order. So we want to give people enough time to really think through who they're assigning to what ticket. Like, I think the thing that's most confusing for people is that if you buy a 3-day ticket, you can't then assign a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday ticket to that person as well. So if someone's assigned to a 4-day ticket, you can't assign any single-day tickets to that person. But if somebody buys a Friday ticket, they can also be assigned to a Saturday, and they can also be assigned to a Sunday, and they can also be assigned to a Thursday. But we don't. The reason why fan verification is so crucial is we don't want people with tickets on the same day. So we're going to see how people respond to this, and how we don't think it's confusing, but we're so close to it, so we're like, oh, people are going to understand this, no problem. But we're giving a good stretch of time for people to do this, and we've brought on additional staff to help answer questions because we know that there are going to be a ton of questions when people are going through the process.
Follow-up question to that: if I were to buy, say, 3 tickets, and I didn't assign a name to one of those tickets by the end of that time period, what would happen to that ticket that had no name assigned to it? Would it get refunded?
It'll be canceled and refunded.
Okay.
I kind of assumed that's where you were going to go with that.
No, I also have had, questions, people asking me like, oh, I have a group of 6, how do I, ensure that everyone in our group, like if my link gets through after someone's bought from me, so that's where that's kind of some of my questions have been coming from.
Yeah.
So if your link gets through, do you have to buy a ticket for yourself? I think is what you're asking, Mike.
Yeah.
That's kind of, yeah.
That's a really good question, and I'm not going to answer that because I don't know the answer.
Sure.
Okay.
I would imagine it's no, but don't quote me on that.
All right.
I'll give you an answer I'll give you an answer you can post to the forums on Monday.
Perfect.
Understood.
Comment coming from Samantha Beard. I've been to a few cons where I felt the VIP ticketing distracted from the atmosphere and the feeling of community at the event. Totally understand the desire to remove those passes. I can imagine it very much was a case of that whole idea of leveling the playing field for everybody when you made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak to how people handle themselves when they're VIPs, but it's a space thing. It's a matter of, we have separate queues for VIPs. If we didn't have those queues, what could we be doing with that instead? There's people who are cranky either way, VIP or no VIP. So, it's really a kind of a space and an effort thing, I'd say. You're not one of the cranky ones, Alyssa. You're all right.
No, I'm not a cranky one. No, I just.
And this.
You said it. You said it, not me.
Wait, but if Alyssa's not the cranky one, then am I the cranky one?
I didn't say anything.
My son was at a music festival in Germany this past weekend, and coming out of there was a bit of a weather issue, but coming out of it, the one thing that everybody did say is that everybody was pleasant, they were friendly, and I think that whenever you get a group of people together who are there for a particular reason, like a convention or a music thing with that shared interest, people are generally nice.
Yeah, they're nice until they get something, they aren't able to do something that they think they should be able to, and that's what we try to avoid. And I'm not talking specifically the VIP program here, but like I want people to be able to go to like 6 panels. If they want to go to 6 panels, the second that they can't get into that 6th panel, that's when they start to get uncomfortable and unhappy with the experience. So we want to do everything that we can do to keep people happy this whole time.
Excellent. Right, I mean, I think we've covered most of the bases. I think the one question I certainly wanted to wrap up on is about the changes from last year and what you actually learned from 2015. Was there anything that you picked up from last year's NYCC that you're looking forward to bringing forward to 2016?
Yeah, I think one thing we're really focused on, and I've been talking about this a lot, is the number of experiences people can have, and we're going to use technology a little bit more than we have in the past. If it's our mobile app, or if it's push notifications, or if it's text messages, we want to help facilitate people to have those experiences. So if there's an anime panel going on at one end of the hall that we think that they really like, that we know has a few seats in it, then we're going to tell people like, hey, we know you like anime, go check out this anime panel. And that's the kind of stuff that
everybody is going to be there on their phone now.
Everybody's there on their phone already. I can't go anywhere anymore without people being on their phone constantly, and I'm not saying I'm not a part of that problem, but I think
I've railed against that over the last couple of weeks, where I've just been, one of my con tips has been saying for half an hour to an hour at your convention. Put your phone away and just experience the convention. At which point I've had pretty much every single person saying, yeah, right, whatever. So,
the thing that really gets me is concerts, and I'm a big music guy, and I don't get to as many concerts as I used to, but I went to go see this band called American Nightmare on a reunion tour like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm standing in front of 10 people who just have their phones up, just recording it. I'm like, can't anybody just experience anything anymore? Like, I don't know, it's frustrating. Everybody needs to be able to post and needs to be able to share all the cool things that they're doing, but I just, I miss the days of just enjoying things.
Ladies and gentlemen, any of the panel rooms at New York Comic Con, put your phones down. That's what you've been told by...
I can tell you, though, last year, it was either Saturday or Sunday, I did a very good job at New York Comic Con of going dark for, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours. I remember Alyssa was like, yeah, you went off the grid for a while. Because I was tired of it. I just
Is that because there's no cell service?
Huh?
Was that because there was no cell service?
No, that was because I just wanted, like, my con, and I just put my phone away, and I went dark for like 6 hours. It was the greatest time.
I have a problem after shows. I get the hear the walkie-talkie that we use. We use the same walkie-talkies for every show, and like 3 days after the show, I'll hear the ding, and I'll hear the and I get PTSD.
Can I just say, Mike, that's those 6 hours when he was off the grid. It was glorious.
Hey,
we have to get you to the show, Leonard, so you can experience it. Absolutely. I've got an inexpensive place for you to stay. I do have one follow-up question for Mike, if I may.
Sure.
Last year, this is switching gears to ECC. Last year was the first year you guys did ECC. How'd it go?
I thought it went really well, and I think that there are things that we can do better. I think it was super close to C2E2, and I think that was really hard on our staff and on our exhibitors and our artists. And we've got a little bit more spacing this year. Emerald City goes back to early March, and C2E2 goes back to late April. But I worry that in our efforts to just do the show and get the show off the ground, we overlook things. And I worry about Emerald City. I worry about the experience we put together simply because we needed more time with it. I think we needed more time to plan. We needed more time to get it to feel right. I think for those of you who have been to a lot of shows, each show has its own feel and has its own kind of personality. And we need to do more to get those personalities to shine through. And I think we were all super happy with Emerald City. Exhibitors were happy. Fans were largely happy. But I think there's things that we can make better, and that's what we're going to be working on.
I look forward. I'm planning on coming next year to ECC, so I look forward to seeing what it's about. First time in Seattle, so I know that
it's a great show. It's become one of my favorites, and even before we acquired it and started working with those guys, I'd been there 2 or 3 times, and I just love the experience that I have there. And so I'm really excited to see what happens there. But the thing that stands out for all of our shows is that the thing I'm most proud of is just the quality of artist alleys across those 3 shows. New York has the biggest one. C2E2, in my opinion, has just one of the most community-focused ones. And Emerald City has just such great diversity in terms of content. And I'm so happy that those are the kind of the 3 things, or the main things that each of those 3 shows that really stand out for me.
Mike Negan does an amazing job at it. He really does deserve it. I mean, I know he's somewhat one of your Artist Alley guys, and he does a great job at all the Artist Alleys.
Yeah, he's good, and he's been doing that for, God, this is maybe 5 years now, and he's just so good. And 2 of the people that came over with Emerald City, Mike Miller and Jim DeMonakis, who founded Emerald City, both of their passions lie in Artist Alley too. So the 3 of them have turned into this kind of amazing 3-headed Artist Alley monster that is continuing to do great things. And I've said it before, but as soon as Special Edition comes back, I can't wait to see those guys work with that show.
Are you looking at New York for SC?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I don't know that it comes back to New York. I think that I think New York Comic Con satisfies a lot of people for Artist Alley, and it'd be different if Artist Alley wasn't in its own building at New York Comic Con. But I feel like people can love Artist Alley. I mean, I think there is an amazing Artist Alley at New York Comic Con, so people can just go into that building and spend 4 days in that hall, and a lot of people do that. So I don't know that it needs it. We've identified a few other cities, and I'm not going to say we're close to anything, but I'm excited about a couple opportunities.
Okay, cool. Just a couple of literally last-minute questions, which I'm going to throw at you from the Q&A, and then we'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Although I see Michael's kind of Mike's pouncing. He wants to ask another one.
Well, I was because, well, speaking of other shows, you added the BookCon as part of, you know, the New York Comic Con show as kind of like, because I know the BookCon came out of the BEA show, which is a show also run kind of by Reed Expo, and then you turn that into like a open day for, you know, fans in the past. But then BEA went to Chicago, so that's when, you know, BookCon followed it. But now you've added BookCon back to New York. So
yeah. So that's I mean, there's always, if you've paid attention to New York Comic Con, there's always been a great traditional publishing presence there. All of the main publishers participate in booth space. They do great panels. They bring in authors. This is a way for us to really centralize that content, move it to a different venue, because if somebody is really passionate about books and anything literary, like, they can go and hang out in that building all day if they want. What that then allows us to do is, for the 15 panels that we've taken out of Javitz Center and moved to Hudson Mercantile, that's 15 new panels that we could do. That they could be fan-submitted panels, they could be new publishers, they can be whatever we want. So, you know, moving that, putting a banner over that content and moving it is really attractive for us, because that helps us spread around the city. And if I told you that, hey, Penguin Random House is doing their panels over there, you know, are people going to leave the building for that? But if I say, hey, every publishing panel, all BookCon, all author signings, our bookstore, if all that stuff's going to a different venue called and we call it BookCon, like, I think people are more apt to go somewhere for that. And yeah, BookCon and BEA were in Chicago this year. BookCon and BEA went very well, coming back to New York, but this allows us to keep the kind of the brand at New York and New York Comic Con.
Excellent.
You should be on our marketing team. You're picking up the good stuff with BookCon.
Okay, let's do these quick fire questions then. Got a couple from Sarita P. Thank you very much indeed for watching, Sarita. She was asking, are you willing to take away VIP away from other con? I think we covered that. It was more about New York Comic Con and allocating more space and resources when it comes to a VIP. You're going to be making the decisions on a con-by-con basis, I think I gathered. Is that right?
Yep, that's accurate.
Yeah, okay. Right, so that was that. And the other questions were, will you be having dedicated Wi-Fi?
It depends. In all likelihood, yeah. I mean, the Wi-Fi is, for us to do it, is very expensive, so we largely are requiring a sponsor, but I'm confident that a sponsor will jump on. Yeah.
Excellent. And another question, just to wrap things up on the Q&A, will Artist Alley be in the same place since they done their renovation at the Javitz?
Yeah, it'll be in the same place for 2016. The Javitz has been talking a lot about an addition, you know, adding some space to Javitz, and so we'll see what that does to our entire layout, you know, going forward. From 2010 to, I think, 2013 or maybe 2012, there was pretty significant construction every year at Javitz, which meant that we never had a consistent floor plan. You know, the Crystal Palace, that main lobby was always affected. So we're used to construction. We prefer not to deal with it, but if that means later on that, you know, New York Comic Con can sell more tickets and sell more exhibits and have more panel room space, then that's great. But it means we might have to deal with 1 or 2 years of change.
Okay. Excellent stuff. Well, I think we've gotten a lot of information there, including that we will be seeing some updates on the forum in the next couple of days. Do head to friendsofcc.com. I'm certain that Alyssa will put everything in where it needs to go and where you'll be able to find out some information there. And within weeks, you're going to be hearing about ticket sales for New York Comic Con. And do you have a timetable for the video, just so people have an idea of the kind of idea of how the sale's going to go?
I don't. I will get some info on that. The video might not happen. I think when I just finished reading this detailed document, and there's always a problem with people who don't read, but there's a whole detailed document that kind of does the do's and don'ts, and hopefully that people will read and will understand. But we've got our whole team ready to go on Facebook messages and incoming emails and answering any question that people might have.
Well, I'm certain Alyssa has a couple of people who would be willing to go over that document just to see, to help you out with any kind of proofreading to kind of make sure it's as clear as it can possibly get. But
the entire thing would be redacted, so it would do no use.
Excellent stuff. Mike, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and hopefully we'll get to speak to you a little bit closer to New York Comic Con 2016.
Yeah, let's do this in August or September. That'll be fun.
That sounds like fun. Brilliant.
Love it.
Take care. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys too. Bye.
Brilliant stuff. So there you go. That was Mike Armstrong from ReedPOP. Like I say, he will be sending Alyssa and the forum a whole bunch of information, so do keep an eye on friendsofcc.com for future updates. But as we learned there's things that are afoot for New York Comic Con, and certainly for the badge or the ticket buying process. It does sound like there's some things that you need to kind of get your head around. I'm hoping it's not going to be like a 20-page PDF you have to work your way through, but it does sound like there's things that you have to do to make sure that you get the badge that you want. So, excellent stuff. Thanks to Mike for joining us for that.
I thought it was very interesting that Mike wasn't able to answer the question with regards to whether or not the person who logs in has to buy for themselves, because what happens if you log into the system and somebody has already bought your ticket? That's going to create a problem and will possibly void one of those spots that you could have bought for your 6 other friends like Mike has.
Yeah. I think given that, I'm speculating. Obviously, the other Mike is the one who knows everything. I'm speculating that maybe you may not be having to specify who's buying what ticket as you're buying it. Because he did, it's been mentioned a few times. You have a couple days. I've seen some messaging, like almost up to 2 weeks possibly to assign a ticket. So I'm hopeful that it's possible that they understand the craziness of buying a badge at that very moment. So it's kind of like, buy your badges. We understand the issue, and then settle up afterwards.
So if there is, say, we'll just call it a 2-week period. So if there is a 2-week period and refunds are made, say you bought an extra one that you don't need and that gets refunded to you, that would mean that they would have extra tickets at the end of that 2-week period.
It's possible. I think that I think that the way this sale is going to work is that there's not going to be a lot of extra tickets, and you also have people who are going to get glitched out. It happens everywhere. You get the white screen or your frozen screen. So you have to have people taken care of in that regard also.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Right, let's go through a couple of very quick headlines. We are going to be, well, tell you what, we'll do this first. Let's just get this out of the way first. Right, what we do in terms of myself and, well, Alyssa doesn't know about this either, so she knows the general idea, but she doesn't know what we're going to do. Right, on a Monday, or the Monday after San Diego Comic-Con, which this year will be It's full of my diary. 25th of July. We do a recap show, and for the last couple of years we've been taking up space at the Hilton Bayfront and having a great time just sitting there, and we call it a bottle of water with an Englishman in San Diego, purely because I'm mostly hungover, and I do need to kind of get my electrolytes back.
I'm still drunk. Oh, I said that out loud. Sorry.
That's a terrible, slanderous thing to say.
I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I apologize.
Right. However, what we have had is someone approach us for a venue for this year, and it's actually very, very nice. This is the motor yacht Pegasus that you will find in Bayfront. Last year, you may have seen it with the Disney Infinity banners on the outside of it. It's a very, very nice motor yacht that's down by the Bayfront, and they have offered us a space there on the Monday to basically take up residence for a couple of hours and do the show. So between 12 and 1, you will be able to watch a recap show, maybe a little bit later, 12, half past 1, something like that. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun in a nice VIP session. I think it's going to be rather fun. You can join us, okay? It's going to be for a VIP reception, so it's from 11 o'clock in the morning. It's going to have a drinks reception. It's going to have vol au vents and lots of nibbles and bits and pieces to welcome you along as a VIP. Alyssa's face is going very pale, but it's going to be a lot of fun and in this very nice location for our wrap-up show. And we've got spaces for 10 people to come and join us. Okay? The thing is, you have these conditions. You have to be in San Diego, which means you have to be stopping around for another day or so. Or you can, if you're heading off in the evening, you can come along and this will be a nice little cap to your Comic-Con week. Okay? It's first come, first served. And I think the way that we're going to do this, it's going to have to be by email. Using the message line, I'm on a boat. We need the first 10 people if you want to join us for this rather special event, considering that the boat is also going to be hosting a number of VIPs on board who may still be kicking around. So you may be bumping into some rather VIP people who are staying on the boat, on the yacht. But it's the first come, first served to the to my email address, which is leonardsultana@anenglishmaninsandiego.com. That's how you spell my name. It's at the bottom of the screen. LeonardSultana. But you've got to use the message line, I'm on a boat. The first 10 people can come and join us. Now here's the other thing. It is unfortunately a ticketed event, which means it's $50. Okay, which may sound, I don't know, I think it sounds pretty reasonable for the location we're going at, considering it is a very nice drinks reception, champagne drinks reception, and all. You will be treated like a VIP for a couple of hours on a yacht, and you can also join us for the wrap-up show. If you'd like to take part, if you want to join us on the yacht, leonardsultana@anenglishmaninsandiego.com, and the message line has to be, I'm on a boat. Okay? First 10 people, I will be messaging back, and we will be inviting you onto our VIP yacht, which is very nice. So there we go. Does that sound fair?
That sounds wonderful, Leonard.
Yeah, excellent.
I look forward to meeting everybody.
The only thing that I have been told is you have to wear shoes. Okay, this is not a board short kind of board short kind of place. All right. But anyway, looking forward to doing the show. I think it's going to be fun. So there we go. leonardsultana@anenglishmaninsandiego.com. I'm on a boat in the message line. We'll get back to you, and we'll start arranging the first 10 people to join us on the Hangout. So that's number one. Number two, just a quick one on my own thing. Yes, I have had my panel confirmed. I'm not going to announce on the Hangouts here, but if you do head to anenglishmaninsandiego.com, I do have put a post up about the British invasion, Spirit of '86. It is a panel about the influence of the British creatives that were brought over in the late '70s, early 1980s, and made an immeasurable influence on the American comic market to this day. In 1986, we saw the release of Watchmen. This is the 30th anniversary of that release, and I think it's a perfect year to celebrate the British invasion of creatives coming over to the worldwide market, especially American comics. So that's my panel. Do head to anenglishmaninsandiego.com for more. Right, has there been any news over the last 7 days, Alyssa and Mike, that's kind of jumped up and caught your attention? Certainly, like the Conan wraps over the shuttles. It's caught my attention.
I haven't, to be honest with everybody, I haven't been around for the past 3 days. I've had a real life issue, so I don't know. I've been watching some television, so I can speak to a week in TV. I know that we get the just been doing the lanyards and the forum stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, just to for those who haven't spotted it, there has been one or two posts, which I think I'll retweet as well, showcasing the new wraps that are now on the trains running through San Diego, which are of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and also of Conan, who is going to be returning to San Diego this year. There was also the 4 pops that were announced this week, which are going to be available at the live show, with Conan appearing as a Ghostbuster. I believe.
Superman.
Go on, what was that? Sorry,
Superman.
Go on.
He's a Superman in one. Superman.
Okay. Right.
But I don't know the other two.
Okay. The reason why I'm not fully au fait with the details is because I'm not going to be going for Conan at all. It was a bit of a bloodbath last year, and it really took those people who went for Conan. They were taken away from the rest of the con. It really did take up your day. So.
Yep.
The mailings, the badge mailings, that's been the big, the big thing that a lot of my friends have been talking about. Just organizing. A lot of us bought for other people, as Mike puts his forward. A lot of us bought for other people, so trying to track down, oh yeah, okay, let's see, and figuring out, for me personally, the difficult thing has been figuring out if I bought like a Thursday, Sunday badge for somebody in pre-reg and they were able to get a Friday, Saturday, that they were combined and shipped to them, and that it didn't, that I wasn't supposed to get a badge. So working through those logistics, I know, has been a little bit of a tricky thing. I think that we're getting towards the end of when people should have been receiving their badges, given that us East Coasters are getting them. I think I got mine on Saturday. And so, any updates on the international people in terms of?
Looks like it's going to be your badge collection is going to be in the new updated Marriott Marquis. Mm-hmm. And then moving across the sales to pick up the rest of your bits and pieces. But as when it comes to the internationals, we've heard nothing yet. So I think it's just going to be a case of we're just going to get our emails in much the say that most people have had in the past. So there we go.
I noticed that all the letters came from North Carolina, so it actually makes sense that East Coast people might be getting them a little before West Coast. If that's the case, or if some West Coast people haven't quite gotten anything yet.
I have heard of a couple of instances where things were, where there may be some, how shall I say, envelope stuffing issues. So if something, if something is wrong, I'm trying. I encourage people to contact CCI.
Yeah. I've also heard that, like, if you had individual days and you didn't get, like, one day, that actually if you look at the sheets, that they put the sheets in the back part, multiple days there. That's another tip that I've been hearing.
Okay.
Other news, the only other thing that that's in terms of
the other news that I can keep passing on, the SDCC blog has just reminded people on social media, and it is a very good point as well, that this is the last chance tonight to get on the Mattel's pre-sale. The inventory, still some inventory still left to pick up, but it does end tonight. So if you are going to get those final bits and pieces of Mattel, today's the day to do it. I would also say that Carrie Henn from the film Aliens, considering that we are celebrating an Aliens anniversary this year, she has announced that she's going to be getting her own table both Friday and Saturday. She has said that she's not sure of all the details, but she will be on Friday from 2:30 till 7, and Saturday 10 while 2:30. So if you are an Aliens fan, that's someone to catch up with in the autograph area, which means that details are starting to roll out to autograph sellers or to the autograph booths. They are starting to roll those out to people, so do pay attention. Those are going to start going out. Right, Alyssa, Week in TV.
The Olympic tryouts, Shark Week, Game of Thrones tonight. Yes, 69 minutes of.
Oh.
Yes, and I can't watch it. I'm doing a family thing tonight, so I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get to watch it until Wednesday, so I'm going to be avoiding social media for spoilers. The other thing that's happening is Dark Matter and Killjoys are coming back on July 1st, so make sure your DVRs are set up for that. I'm just going to do a shout-out for some ongoing series of Preacher, 12 Monkeys, Brain Dead, hilarious sci-fi political Washington thing, Clever Man Turn. That's your Week in TV.
Okay. I think, what else? Just one last thing as well that I wanted to announce, or say on behalf of everyone here on the Hangouts. One of the quintessential keys to San Diego Comic-Con is Mr. Eddie Ibrahim. He's the director of programming. He's the guy that kind of has given me my panel, so I'm very happy to say hello to Eddie. But as it happens, it's Eddie Ibrahim's birthday today. So from all of us on Cup of Tea SDCC, happy birthday, Mr. Eddie Ibrahim. And I can imagine at this point he is currently looking over a lot of pin boards and trying to put everyone in the right rooms and get everything together for this year's convention. So we'll interrupt him for a couple of minutes just to say, Mr. Ibrahim, a happy birthday to you, sir.
I heard he was considering Game of Thrones in a very small room this year. Game of Thrones moving out of Hall H.
Well, I know that he's thinking about moving my panel in there, so I don't know how that's going to work the timetable. So depends how many people are interested in my panel. It may have to move it into the bigger room, man.
I agree.
But there we go. Right, I think that's pretty much us. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for today's show. We can announce what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks when it comes to the panels. The Hangouts. Next week we are going to be doing off-site special because we are going to be joined by a couple of special guests. Do go to anenglishmaninsandiego.com for more information about next week's panel. But there is going to be a section on off-site. Also, we may be featuring a very special guest on that show. Either that, or we're going to be giving him a special episode all on his own. We are going to be joined by Mr. David Glanzer between now and San Diego Comic-Con, which means we'll be getting from the horse's mouth all the bits and pieces that we can talk about when it comes to San Diego Comic-Con 2016. Eddie Ibrahim, Eddie Ibrahim, what am I on about? David Glanzer is the voice. I'm celebrating birthday boys, that's what it is. David Glanzer is absolutely the voice of San Diego Comic-Con, and he will be joining us on a special episode of Cup of Tea SDCC, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. And then we're talking the Sunday after, which is on the 10th. We will be going over the schedules for San Diego Comic-Con 2016. Now, the schedules do come out the corresponding day to 2 weeks later, so the Thursday of the convention will be coming out on Thursday the 7th. The Friday of the convention comes out Friday the 8th, and so on. Which means when we go out live, each and every year, the Sunday schedules usually come out. So we'll be doing a bit of a clash of collating all the information of the convention, and then also looking over the Sunday schedule pretty much as it goes out live. That happens on the 10th, and then on the 17th we'll be doing a live outside broadcast from Star Wars Celebration, and then there's this little thing happening in San Diego, and hopefully you'll be joining us for that. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Once again, do check anenglishmaninsandiego.com for more information about all the Cup of Tea episodes coming up. But next week, we'll be talking off-site. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Alyssa, where can people find you online?
friendsofcc.com/forum and at my Twitter handle, which is @friendsofcci.
Excellent. And where can people find you, Mike?
Twitter @MLLNY, same forum name Friends of CCI and High Def Ninja.
Excellent.
And if I could give one quick shout out at the end.
Go for it.
I was truly amazed because I didn't actually realize that our annoying SDCC Fit tweets actually work until I saw a photo posted by Corgi Commander like 2 or 3 days ago where just in the 3 months, if you've seen his change. So I'm surprised and I'm glad that my annoying and everyone else's annoying tweets actually do pay off. So...
Well,
yeah.
It's not over yet, so yes, do check out the SDCC Fit hashtag and jump on board. Do more walking. Get yourself really prepared for your convention. For example, and I know Alyssa has said this as well, that it isn't just for your convention, it's also just to make you feel so much better. Not to survive it, but to enjoy it better. That's the whole idea. So that's what it's all about. Excellent stuff. You can find me on Twitter, Englishman SDCC. You can find me on Google Plus @+anenglishmaninsandiego.com. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Once again, that email address, leonardsultana@anenglishmaninsandiego.com, and the message line is, I'm on a boat. We would love for you to come and join us for the recap show on the Monday after San Diego Comic-Con. Do take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and from all of us, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.